Hello chess family, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're in for another installment of Instructive Chess Miniatures. In this case we're going to be taking a look at, well, the Accelerated Dragon, one of my favorite openings to play with black. Alright, here we go. We start with e4, c5, Sicilian. Knight f3, knight c6, d4, open Sicilian, c takes d4, knight takes d4, and then here we're going to play the Accelerated Dragon with pawn to g6. Now, some people do ask me, what's the difference between the Accelerated Dragon and the regular Dragon? Very simple. In the Accelerated Dragon, we play g6 right away rather than playing something like pawn to d6. For instance, d6 could get played, knight c3, knight f6, and I don't know, we'll just say maybe the bishop comes out somewhere. Let's just say bishop to e3. Now when you play g6, now we get the dragon variation as the pawn on d6 has been played. Now one of the main differences between this is that in the Accelerated Dragon, we're trying to save the tempo and play d5 as soon as possible. Why play d6 when you can just get d5 in one go? So black plays g6 right away. And here we go. Knight c3 got played. Bishop g7, developing with a threat and attacking this bishop, this knight over here on d4. Bishop to e3, developing and defending. Knight to f6, and here white does not play one of the best moves, at least in my opinion, and plays knight to b3. Now this does make sense because, well, if white's not paying attention, it plays something like, I don't know, bishop to e2, classical variation. After castles, now black can play that pawn to d5 right away. And because this knight's in the way, well, black is already better. Remember, if you can play d5 without losing as black, you're equal if not better. With that being said, this is not the case. That's why white went ahead and played knight to b3 here. So now that you see the queen, pawn, and the knight are covering, so d5 can't get played right away. That's okay. Black keeps chucking along. Castles over here. And then white goes ahead and plays pawn to f3. Here you can see that white's most likely going to be looking at playing like the Yugoslav attack, which is basically playing queen to d2, castling queenside, and then, well, going for a kingside attack as soon as possible. Unfortunately, against Accelerated Dragon, this does not work. Black gets in better positions each time. And here, black chooses a very fun idea to start his queenside expansion or attack. Black to move, what do you play? Here, a very fun idea, one I encourage you to play yourself, is pawn to a5 here. What's the idea? It's actually very simple. We just want to go pawn a4 and a3, which may look a little bit weird because shouldn't we be trying to control the center? If white is not paying attention, you can get into trouble really fast. For instance, in this game, white went ahead and played a4 here, which maybe was not the best move to play, but I can understand it as it stops the a4 idea. Let's just say white goes ahead and plays queen to d2 here. Now you can see that black gets a very good position. Pawn to a4, attacking the knight. The knight must move. We'll just say it goes over to d4. And then you can play pawn to a3 here and also pawn to d5 as the knight is now in the way. And a3 is a good move here because after something like b3, now you can see that the dark squares are weak. And here we go. This bishop has gained a lot of control. Remember, in these dragons or Accelerated Dragons or the fianchetto variations, the bishop becomes especially strong. So by playing the simple pawn move, you can see that the dark squares get very weak. All right, back to the game. That's why in the game, white went ahead and played pawn to a4 over here. And unfortunately, this just did not go well here for white. Here, black had a very good move here. Black to move. And, well, you get an equal if not better position. What do you play here? Hopefully you push pause. Hopefully you try to figure it out. Here you get to play pawn to d5 and the game is opened up. Remember, if you can play this move, you're just going to be better in these positions as black. Why is this the case? Because you're opening up your position with your pieces. You see that the bishop's going to be able to get out. And, well, white is trying to go for kingside attack. So remember the rule. Whenever you're trying to go for kingside attack, you want to keep the center closed. Vice versa, because black doesn't want to be attacked on the king side, he wants to try and open up the center. This is where he can create the counterplay. All right, well, there's no really better move here than pawn takes on d5. And here you're saying, hey, we can't take on d5 here, right? Like 1, 2 defenders, 1, 2 attackers. Here the knight moves and it goes to b4, a very good move, as now we've got a very nice outpost fort, but again, we're putting pressure on d5. And here, there's just really no good way to defend this pawn. And here, white went ahead and played queen d2, and the game was over pretty fast here, at least with some nice ideas. Someone might be asking, hey, can't we play something like bishop c4? You're more than welcome to try, but trying to hold on to this d5 pawn is just not going to end well. Here, black just goes queen c7, attacking the bishop. Now the bishop is under attack. If you move it away, the rook will come to d8 and put pressure on the pawn. So, I don't know, let's say queen to e2 gets played. And there's just lots of tactics in this situation. Here, for instance, bishop f5 is a good move, developing with a threat. But here, black to move, knight takes on c2 check, forking the king and the rook. And after queen takes, well, queen takes over here. Black's got the open files. Bishop f5 is coming. Black is just very, very happy now. All right, going back to the game, queen to d2 got played. And again, White was saying with this queen d2 that they're looking about castling queenside. And this is just not a good idea. We've already got open files here and ready to attack. White, on the other hand, is going to take quite a while before they're able to open up over here on the king side. Okay, well, black to move. Let's keep heading forward. Knight f takes on d5 here. Remember, always take with the least active piece. And in this case, taking with the knight was best. See how we opened up the bishop over here? You could definitely take with this knight, but remember, this knight's already doing very good over here. This knight wasn't doing too much, and we open up the bishop. No question over here. All right, here we go. White, really? I mean, yeah, this is just too hard for White. If knight takes on d5, there's a lot of good moves here. Probably just queen takes on d5. Bishop takes on b2 is being threatened. I mean, yes, you could go into this endgame thinking maybe you'll try to do well, but Black is still at a very big advantage here. Your king's still in the center, and you're 2 pieces down in development. Black, on the other hand, has these open files. The endgame should be good here for Black. So, going back to the game, after knight f takes on d5, White makes a huge mistake and plays castles queenside. Why is this so bad? All right, it's Black to move and win. What do you play? All right, hopefully you push pause and try to figure it out. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and play. Knight takes on c3, double exclam right here. Why? Well, most people are thinking, hey, can't we just take on d8 here? We have 1, 2 attackers, and, well, they've only got 1 defender. Well, if you were calculating, you'd see that you cannot take on d8. But what else can you play here? You can't go queen takes on c3. Here's, of course, bishop takes c3 is a good move, but when you see a good move, look for a better one. After bishop takes on c3, White can play rook takes on d8, and they're going to be down the exchange. So, well, it's still good here for Black, but here, like I said, when you see a good move, look for a better one. Knight to a2 check, king to b1, and then knight takes on c3 check. And then the queen can take here on d1 later on. Oof, very, very bad for them. What else can you play here? I mean, there really is nothing else. If you try to block with like a piece or something, like bishop to d3, then the knight can just take on d1 over here. Or remember, when you see a good move, look for a better one. Knight over to a2 is check and mate. Whew, that'd be a bad one. So in the game, very similar to what happened in the other variation. After knight takes, queen takes on d8. Remember, when you see a good move, look for a better one. Knight to a2 check was played. Here, there's no place for the king to move to the king, so the king had to go to d2, and now we took on d8 in check. And, well, you're just going to be up some material here, and the king is still running over here. At this point, White just went ahead and resigned, as there really was no good continuation here. I mean, I guess you can try to play something like bishop to d3 here, but here we just go grabbing stuff. Knight takes on d1. I guess rook takes over here. Oh, is this knight trapped? No, it's not. The knight can just jump back to b4. In fact, I'd probably play bishop takes on b2 here, not winning the pawn as much as giving another square here for attack. And, yep, you're just up an extra piece. The king is not happy here. Game over. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't already, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next game.